Lumos. Hello, friends. Welcome back to Shell Cottage Radio. I'm your host and secret keeper, Ezra, a.k.a. Bill, also known as Sir Ezra the Watchful. History of Magic Professor, the Flannel Wizard, obviously yours truly, me. Please welcome your lovely design witch, the fascination of this year, Triwizard Champion herself, and my wonderful co-host and yours, Lottie, a.k.a. Fleur.
Hallo und einen wunderschönen guten Tag. It's so good to have you back in our beautiful little cottage on the outskirts of Tinworth. Kommt rein und macht's euch gemütlich. Welcome to episode 107, in which we discuss Harry Potter and the Goblet of Fire. This week we'll talk about chapter 24, Rita Skeeter's Scoop. We'll give you a quick life update with our homemade cottage ketchup, feed our brains with important trivia knowledge, and then dive head on into our chapter summary audio experience. And since we just stopped recording the previous episode, no, should I not say that? Oh gosh.
Oh no, you just pulled the curtain back, and people now.
Oh no.
Now they understand, like, it's not like no time has passed. We can't do that in the future.
Okay.
We can't do that in the future. We want people to think that we're recording two separate times, even though we told you guys we're only recording once a month. Oh, I'm just kidding.
Oh, okay.
I'm just kidding, right? Keep it all in.
I couldn't read you.
I know. That's the whole point. I'm good at this. Okay?
You are getting better and better at this. The other day we had a surprise baby shower at your school because I work there sometimes, and you told me in advance, get a job at that school, at my school, for
get a job,
right? And I was like, okay, what's going on? But then on that day, I kept asking, like, okay, why do you want me to come here today? It's like, oh, never mind. Never mind. It just didn't work out or whatever. And you really kept the facade up going, and you made plans for after school where we would be going, and that we have to leave, and here's the plan. And I really thought we were going to walk out of this building, and I don't, whatever. It just didn't happen, whatever was the plan. And then you're like, oh, let's go over to my colleague, and it's totally believable because you work really closely with her.
She's on the way out.
And yeah, her room's on the way out. So you were like, I just have to drop something off real quick at her room. Her door was closed. And the coolest thing was there was a sign at her door that said no admittance unless for party business, which is from The Hobbit or from Lord of the Rings. Yeah. And you opened the door, and I just still didn't get it.
I know.
I walked into the room, and it took me probably like a good minute to realize, like she had everything decorated for a baby party, and there was some other people in there, and there was cupcakes, and it was so cool.
I was probably supposed to tell you on the way down to the room, but I was like, nah. Well,
you didn't. I thought it was really, really good because normally you love telling me about everything. Right? I mean, when you got me a Christmas gift last year, pretty early, and then you were like, "Can I just give it to you? I just want to give it to you now."
I know.
Which is this beautiful sweater.
Oh yeah. I'm not really good at
Hagrid pumpkin form.
Keeping,
Yeah.
I like to just let you know.
You did great.
Yeah. So anyway, so friends, I figured last episode was a little dry.
Really?
It was kind of dry.
Really?
That's why we got some water. So that way we could hydrate a little bit. And, I mean, we talked about we're not big fans of spicy food, but maybe we'll spice things up here a little bit with some jokes.
Oh, yeah. We forgot the jokes. That's why. All right. Give me your jokes.
What do Azkaban prisoners use to freshen their breath? I think I've said this one before. I'm having deja vu. I need to quit going to the same lists over and over and keep track of what
prisoners to freshen their breaths.
What do Azkaban prisoners use to freshen their breath? It's Dementos.
Oh, I thought about
Mentos?
something with Dementors.
Yeah.
Or Dementos.
It's pretty good, right?
I like Dementos.
I know.
My mom used to have them all the time in her little
do you remember the fruit ones?
Yes.
The fruit ones were the best. I mean, I would eat
Mentos.
the whole thing.
I know.
It's like you're supposed to have like two.
It's bad.
And I'm like, eating the whole thing. They were so good.
That's childhood memories because that was something my mom had in her purse all the time.
Yeah.
When we were on the go somewhere and it's like, can I have one? Can I have Mentos?
I know.
Yeah.
Great. Okay, so what does Wizard say when he gets robbed by a muggle?
Oh, dare you.
Somebody muggled me. And mugged him.
Oh.
These are bad dad jokes. Okay.
Mm,
Let's see.
somebody
What? This is some of these
just
are
got
really dumb.
Okay.
Wow. Why did Snape hate herbology? Because his Lily died. Oh my
I've
god.
heard that one.
Is what is this is terrible. Okay. Let me see here. Actually, this one is wrong. We just had a discussion about this. So it says, what would Harry Potter be if he didn't go to Hogwarts? Like what would he be? Or maybe even what would he be after he was
Okay.
finished attending Hogwarts, whatever, regardless of Hogwarts. And it says that he'd be a Python programmer. And Python being
That's
right
funny,
the
yeah.
system that you work. But actually we found out just, I think Jack had asked us the question whether or not he would even be able to speak parcel tongue and
Probably
speak to
not.
snakes. So the answer is
Right.
no.
Yeah.
So that doesn't really work. What program do you use to edit your photos?
Adobe. I don't know. Or Photoshop?
Adobe Photoshop?
What?
Adobe Photoshop?
Oh, Adobe.
Or is it Adobe Photoshop or is it Adobe?
Oh my goodness.
My bad.
All right. That's good.
Let's see.
Last one.
Oh, last. Why? What if I read all of them? Some of these are just ridiculous. Why did Neville always sit in two chairs?
Aw.
Why did he always sit in two chairs? Because he's a long bottom.
Oh.
Oh my god, this is so dumb. I'm sorry. It's just dumb. Okay, all right. Couple jokes to get you guys going
Good.
here.
All right.
How you doing? How you feeling? You hydrated?
Good. I'm way hydrated now. I just want to give you guys a reminder if you haven't, if you're not following us on YouTube, it's the Flannel Wizard. It's all under one name now. The Flannel Wizard is going to talk you through Harry Potter, Star Wars, Lord of the Rings, Game of Thrones, all your favorite series.
Yeah.
And
can I give an update on that?
Yeah.
Can I just tell you? Okay, so actually, friends, what I like to do for Patreon sometimes, and we'll do it right after this episode before we're done. Listen, you can have a bathroom break, but when we're done,
Thanks.
I'm gonna literally hit record again, and we're gonna do a quick one.
Okay.
And what it is me brainstorming for you. Have no. This causes her anxiety, guys, because she's like, I don't have anything prepared. I don't know if I can do this. Lottie very much has to be prepared with notes. I never know what I'm going to say when I start the episodes. This is a therapy session for me, guys. Okay. This is for me. I appreciate some of you listening, but it's really just me talking through stuff. So the Patreon episode will be about something. It's a theory that I have, and I want to kind of just share it with Lottie, talk to you guys about it, see what you think. I maybe have said something about it before, but this time I'm just going to have like a good 15 just thoughts.
Yeah.
Thoughts that I want to share with you about Fox.
Oh.
And his tail feathers.
Okay. Yeah.
So honestly, I think it's a really unique idea. And I don't think anyone else in the Harry Potter fandom, and I mean this, 0 people in the Harry Potter fandom have thought and have said what I'm about to say. So that will follow this episode. You will see it.
Okay.
It will be over on Patreon, and it will be something about, I'm not sure what the title will be exactly, but Fox's tail feathers.
Okay. Sounds intriguing.
I want you to be intrigued. I want you to be ready to go.
Mm-hmm.
All right.
Yeah.
Yay.
Also on the channel, don't forget, if you have watched Cobra Kai show, okay, we just got done watching it, and we are still, like, it's one of the best shows we've ever seen.
Flabbergasted.
Even though there is some ridiculous moments and fights going on, and
it's awesome.
As teachers are like, okay, where is the actual school staff in this situation? But no spoiler.
When they do show up, they're like, they do exactly what we would have done. Like, hi, I don't get paid for this. Like, sorry. No,
please don't tell people that's what we would have done. But
I'm just kidding. It's a joke. I'm still in the joke segment.
I'm the right.
Okay, go ahead.
What? But I want you, if you have seen the show, I want you to go to the YouTube and every day this week vote on sorting the characters into houses. This is so fun.
Yeah.
So far we have 2 up, which is obviously the 2 biggest characters from back then and in the show. Daniel LaRusso and Johnny Lawrence.
Mm-hmm.
So far, I'm not going to tell you. You got to see for yourself and vote for yourself because you don't see the results until you vote. So go ahead and when this episode comes out, you can still vote. But
Yeah,
we probably have
you'll see more of
more
them.
characters.
Yeah.
Yeah, because we have 1 week planned ahead. And then even the next one will have more characters. So it's so fun for me though to see what people vote on, which
I mean, I wasn't planning on doing it, but now I've already got like 2 to 3 different like short ideas for Cobra Kai.
Yeah.
So awesome.
Because it's just so fun to see what people think of their characters and where they would fit in the best or what they value the most, right? That's yeah. So
great.
Anyway, just you will hear probably the next, this episode and the next couple of episodes, a couple of Cobra Kai references maybe here and there, just because it was very emotional. Let's say that.
Oh yeah, it was. Yeah,
we're not going to spoil the show for you, but it's just.
But you should be watching it. I'm telling you, it is so good. You're gonna laugh, cry.
Yeah. Oh yeah,
and
you're gonna go through all the emotions.
All the emotions. So also real quick, just on the Flannel Wizard, I want to let people know I am covering all the different fandoms over there right now. I've got I think 7 long form videos I'm working on for Harry Potter.
Wow.
I have another 5 or 6 videos for Star Wars that I want to get done. Pretty big ones too, actually. Pretty significant ones. I'm going to actually do the scripted version, which is about, anywhere from 5 to 10 to 15 minutes of a very scripted video that I'm going to post and have animation. It'll all be on the YouTube channel. And then in follow up to that, I'm going to do kind of an off the cuff, me down here by my lonesome on the microphone, talking to the dark room and just sharing extended thoughts about those topics, because I always have extended thoughts on those things. And I thought I'll just go ahead and share them. And then I'll actually take that whole audio. I'll start off with a little intro. I'll give you guys like the scripted version of the video, but it'll be the audio. And then as well as additional audio, 10, 15, 20 minutes, a rant, yeah, if you will. I will rant and I'll put all of that into a podcast. It'll be kind of 3 different things: intro, scripted, rant. And then I'm going to toss that on the feed. It's the old feed, by the way. It's the Flannel Wizard. If you type it in, you'll see my face on there and a blue lightsaber in my hand. And that's where I'm going to start posting a lot of my just thoughts on anything, because the Wheel of Time is coming up. I want to share thoughts on the Wheel of Time. Cobra Kai just came out. I have thoughts on that because I love it.
Andor's coming up too.
Andor is coming out, so I'm excited about that. So I figured out the best way going forward with having a baby and kind of whittling things down to just like, what can I continue to do? I thought that's probably the best thing I can do. I don't know that I could go 60 minutes and give you guys an actually really good. There are days and there are certain topics where I could go for 60 minutes to 2 hours, but consistently on a week out basis, I'm not so sure what I'd be able to pull off there. So yeah, as I make a long form video, I'm going to give you guys the extended version of it. I already have a couple of them done and ready to upload on there. So if you want to follow that feed, some of you are already following that feed. It was my Star Wars Hangout feed. It then turned into extended edition and different things. And then it turned into, we did Avatar on there. Yeah. I'm just going to leave it all up, because when I went back to Bend the Knee, very few people actually know this, but Bend the Knee, which is a wonderful podcast now. Matt and Jimmy are still running it, and it is still super successful. They're doing a great job over there. Actually, that podcast started off as Second Breakfast. Yeah. Whole different show, different things. So, and then we did a, hey, welcome episode to Bend the Knee. And we were like, should we delete the old episodes?
No, it's the evolution.
They were gems. People ended up like loving the fact that we talked about, Goku and Gohan and Dragon Ball. And I went back and listened and I was like, oh my gosh, we used to
sports, right?
We covered that show. We covered the Tournament of the Gods. Essentially. It was great. So anyway,
I need to listen to it.
Yeah, a lot of fun. But that's kind of the plan in terms of if you're looking for more things as we go to 2 episodes a month here for Shell Cottage. As my focus is going to shift to that channel and really just doing more videos that I can just manage my own time on. And then as I do other podcasts with, like, let's say Matt or Lane or Cameron or other people, I'll also drop those on there as well. If the show comes out, we'll cover it week by week. Like if Lottie and I decide to cover Andor, then sure, we'll drop it there as well. But everything's going to be on one feed, and it's going to be kind of it might be a little bit of a mess, but just is what it is. Yeah. Got to do what you got to do.
Yeah.
So, there's the update on that.
just being realistic also as parents, it's much easier if one of us records and the other one can watch the baby.
Yeah.
It's much harder to find the time where we can both record and still watch the baby.
Can I just
Yeah.
for sure. Exactly. That's the main thing.
Yeah.
The other thing with that, I just want to mention anybody who has ever thought about doing a podcast or content creation or anything like that, or just even wondering why Ez bounces around so much. I am so glad I did. I'm so glad that I went back and forth over the like past 2-3 years after I stopped podcasting with Matt consistently. And after I kind of told Lane, we're going to go to very unexpected format and just do things here and there. It gave me more time to try to figure out what I wanted to do. And I love so many different fandoms that I tried to just go only Star Wars and do Yoda Stew and do the whole thing. And it might have just been bad timing because it was the Acolyte when I started that. It was terrible.
Yeah.
This, by the way, is all cottage ketchup. I figured we had nothing for cottage ketchup, so I'll elaborate a little bit here. I decided that I kind of reverse ship, and I basically said, you know what? Yeah, you can still. Why can't you just put everything on one channel?
Yeah.
And I think it's because I listen to people who talk about like the algorithm and what's good for a channel, what's good for a podcast. I'm like, how about just what's good for me? Because I can't really run 4 different projects like I used to. I can't keep them all separate. And if you like this, but you don't like that, I really just can't do that. Yeah. So kind of decided, it's all going to be on one spot. The YouTube page will host those podcasts, and I'll make clips from them, and we'll make long form videos. I actually have a whole detailed doc for anybody who is wondering if Ez maybe listens and says, I want to know if Ez is going to do XYZ. I am planning on doing like the whole Legends series, all the books for Star Wars. I'm going to go through all of them. I have all of my Winds of Winter theories coming for Game of Thrones. And by the way, they're all in this big noggin. Literally just takes me a second to go back and say, yep, that's what Sansa Stark is doing in Winds of Winter. I already know. Yeah. I've done it for years. So I'm going to go ahead and get those things rolling for you guys because 1, I want to talk about them, and 2, I just love that. I love fandoms. I love community. Yeah. I love the idea, like Lottie right now working on Rosy Little Cheeks. We've talked about taking that to a convention, you guys, like going there and selling some nerdy crochet stuff. And I'm going to vlog and post stuff about it. Like that would be sick. Yeah. So sorry, just to get you guys a little bit, like it's some behind the scenes, I guess. Yes. It's just how I'm feeling, what we're thinking about. And I'm pumped. And it's all going to have to just be slow and at our own pace. And whenever Luke allows for a little bit, as long as he's feeling good. If he's like, no, Daddy, I need you to do X, Y, Z. Okay, well, I need you to take out the garbage when we're done too. Okay, so how about you get on them dishes too while we're at it?
With his magical powers, he's gonna levitate the
a little 6 months. Hey, 6 months. Look, hey, welcome. Come on, time to step up, son. I'm just kidding. I'm kidding. Okay, anyways, enough of me ranting. Thanks for letting me talk.
Yes.
Thanks for my therapy session.
Oh yeah, thank you for letting us all know what about your endeavors.
Yeah, I figured people, like, if you're given a dream, if you're given a vision, it's given to you.
Yes.
Like, I would have had like the crochet stuff that was given to you. Yeah, I can't do anything about it. I can't, So I'm rooting for a lot of people, and I want them to kind of see their vision through. Yeah, it's given to them. It's not given to me. I'm more than willing to help you and root and cheer you on, but I got to follow my own.
Yes. And sometimes your vision develops as you go, as you do things, right?
Yes.
Often we have a certain image in our heads of ourselves. What, our lives will be like once we do X, Y, Z, but not until we actually start doing things about it. We learn, okay, what's possible? How does it actually work? What do I actually enjoy? And that's kind of the phase we went through, we're still going through, probably always, it's always going to be a process, but for sure, both of these things, like discovering that you want to do a channel where you have it all in it, and you can scratch your itch to talk about these different fandoms because you just know so much about these worlds and their lore. And for me, and going down the crochet route, I had no idea that this is what I was going to do.
Yeah, right.
And now I really enjoy it, and I want to keep doing it. So,
do you think that Rita Skeeter set out all those years ago to become this reporter? Or do you think she had a very different career path where she tried this and tried that? I mean, did she want to be? Some people do. They want to be. Think about that. Kids in high school right now who would be who have no idea that they're going to be the next great columnist,
Right.
column,
Yeah.
however you say it, for the Wall Street Journal or
Right.
for the New York Times, right? Who are those people? Are they just, they're sometimes experts in other fields.
Exactly.
And then they get recruited to go write about those things.
We get this idea in our head. Oh, probably Rita already in school. She was writing, school papers or articles about, or even just her own notes on events and trying to put a twist on it. But maybe not. Maybe she discovered that later in life. We don't know.
Yeah.
Maybe she was interested in totally different things.
Right.
Because we all go through life and we think we have to know what we want to do for the rest of our lives after high school, but we don't. Just get started on something that really sparks your interest and then see where it leads you to. So
yep,
I
just
don't know.
do.
Yeah.
Okay.
Are you ready for some questions?
Yeah, what kind of questions you got?
Oh, we're gonna switch it up. So we're gonna take both questions now from the trivia game because we have so many questions in there. And it would be a shame to just use one question each card. So we're going to take 2 questions from each card for both of us. And if you would like to start asking me,
I would just pick a random card for you. I haven't looked at it at all. There's your card.
Okay.
And then
thank you.
That's I have my card here that I'm going to ask you, and we'll just go from there. Look at her. She's so competitive. She's like triple checking that I didn't
I'm looking for the dice.
Oh my gosh, it's right here. Okay. So I want to roll for both of us. And who's going first?
I'm asking you first.
Okay. I have pink.
Okay, your first question is, in the first practice session of the DA, Harry teaches the disarming charm. What is the incantation?
Expelliarmus?
Da, 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 that is correct.
Is that it?
Yeah, disarming is Expelliarmus, yeah.
Oh, that was close, guys. I was worried. Okay, another one for me. Here we go. Blue. Pink and blue. Boy and girl.
Oh, that's easy too.
Oh, good. That's what we want. That's what we want.
What is the name of the Hogwarts matron?
Huh?
What is the name of the Hogwarts matron?
Matron?
You know what a matron is?
Huh? What's that? Hogwarts matron?
Yeah.
Hogwarts who?
You know what a matron is, right?
Professor McGonagall?
No.
Well, the matron.
I would say...
What? The Hogwarts?
Yeah. Sorry, I'm off mic here.
Oh, you're fine. Go ahead and look it up for me.
Sure, matron is the head nurse, basically.
Oh.
So it's British. It's a British word. See, that's why you don't know it. I know what it is, but
what in the world?
It's a woman in charge of domestic and medical arrangements at a boarding school or other establishments.
Wow. So I think I still get this one, guys. I think I still get this one. I didn't know. What the heck? I'm sure people were shouting me as seriously. It just took me a second.
Well, yeah. I want her full name now for you to get the point.
Hold on. Madam Poppy Pomfrey.
Very good. Yeah, Poppy.
Whew.
Poppy it is.
Poppy.
Madam Pomfrey. Yeah, of course. Yes. Good job. 2 points for you.
Thank you very much. All right, I'm gonna roll for you. Ready? I have my card here, and you have orange. And here we go. How many years back in time does Harry travel via Tom Riddle's diary?
Wow.
That was a hard one.
Whoa. I think it's just 50. I think it's 50 years though.
Huh?
On the dot, basically.
Seriously? You don't want to think about it more?
No, I think it's 50 years.
You don't want to change your guess? No. Yeah, it's 50 years.
Yeah, I think it's they make it.
Man, I was hoping it would be harder.
I know. I was like gonna do the math, but then I remembered they said it in the book and in the movies all the time. 50 years. Yeah. I mean, this is movie verse questions.
Yeah, true. Okay. All right, 50 years. Good job. Well done. Well done, Slytherin. Speaking of that, we have green. Okay.
Green. Okay.
Which type of dragon guards the vault at Gringotts?
Which type?
Which type? I do have a multiple choice. It gives you that option.
You do?
Yes, it gives you A, B, C, D. Come on.
Okay, I want the options then.
Okay. A, Ukrainian iron belly. B, Hungarian horntail. C, common Welsh green.
It's the Ukrainian iron belly.
Okay, fine. You got it.
But I would not have known that without the options. Good job. Nice questions, though.
Yeah, those are
Nice
good ones.
mix of easy ones and a little bit harder.
Yeah, matrons. Hey.
We learned something new.
Yeah, we
Okay.
learned something new.
Score is 27 for Fleur, 25.5 for Bill.
Let's go. All right. Time to enter the chapter summary.
Chapter 24. Rita Skeeter's Scoop. On the day after Christmas, the Gryffindor common room is calm and quiet, with students recovering from last night's festivities. Hermione sits with Crookshanks, scratching the cat as it purrs. Her hair is back to its usual bushy state after she spent hours and hours yesterday using Sleek Easy's hair potion for the Yule Ball, just to get it nice and straight. But she admits that she has no intention of repeating that kind of effort daily. Ron and Hermione seem to have reached a silent agreement after their heated argument last night. They decided they would speak to each other again, yet in a strangely formal manner. Harry and Ron tell her about what they accidentally overheard Hagrid tell Madame Maxime about him being a half-giant. This doesn't shock Hermione in the slightest, and she dismisses all the fuss about giants as senseless prejudice, much like how people unfairly judge werewolves. With Christmas over, the students reluctantly turn their attention back to homework and classes. Harry is even more preoccupied with the Triwizard Tournament's golden egg. He opens it repeatedly, shakes it, yells at it, and even throws it across the room in frustration. But the egg remains a mystery. Harry resents Cedric's very vague hint to just take a bath with it, and he feels like it was rather unhelpful compared to the detailed warning about the dragons that he gave him before the first task. When classes resume in January, snow still blankets the castle grounds, and the weather remains icy. No one is too keen to go outside to care of magical creatures, but when the students arrive, they find a different professor waiting for them instead of Hagrid. She introduces herself as Professor Grubbly Plank, but refuses to explain why Hagrid is absent. The Slytherins, especially Draco Malfoy, look far too pleased about Hagrid's disappearance. Professor Grubbly Plank leads the class to the paddock where a stunning white unicorn tethered close to the forest's edge is waiting for them. While the girls are allowed to cautiously approach the beautiful creature, the boys are told to stay back. And as the lesson continues, Malfoy teases Harry for being so touchingly worried about his giant friend, and he hands him a copy of the Daily Prophet. The article, written by Rita Skeeter, is full of sensational claims about Hagrid, portraying him as dangerous and incompetent, revealing his half-giant parentage. Harry is boiling with anger towards Malfoy and Rita Skeeter as Professor Grubbly Plank continues her lesson. Afterward, Parvati Patil comments on how much she prefers Grubbly Plank's teaching style, which makes Harry even more mad. At lunch, Harry shows the article to Hermione. She's equally outraged, and the trio decides to visit Hagrid after dinner to support him. But when they reach the cabin and knock on his door and windows for a good 10 minutes, nobody answers. Days pass, and Hagrid remains absent from classes and meals. Professor Grubbly Plank continues to teach and earns praise from some students for interesting and well-structured lessons. One Saturday in mid-January, students are free to spend the day at Hogsmeade Village again. This gives Harry a chance to escape his worries about the egg in school, but most of all, he hopes to find Hagrid in town. As the trio passes the Durmstrang ship on their way to the village, they see Victor Crumb diving into the icy lake, unbothered by the freezing temperature. Ron grumbles about the giant squid being in there too. Hermione, however, defends Crumb, noting that he is actually really nice, and that he told her he even prefers Hogwarts to Durmstrang. When they arrive at the Three Broomsticks, Harry keeps looking for Hagrid, but finds no sign of him. Instead, he spots Ludo Bagman speaking to a group of goblins in a shadowy corner. Bagman later approaches Harry, offering his help with figuring out the golden egg. Harry is taken aback, and declines as it just wouldn't feel right to accept help from someone he barely knows, let alone one of the judges. Shortly after Bagman and the goblins have left the Three Broomsticks, Rita Skeeter and her photographer enter the pub. She speaks loudly about Ludo's dealings with the goblins, hoping to find more scandals that she can use to her advantage. Harry can't contain his anger anymore, and he confronts Rita about her article on Hagrid. Then Hermione joins in and calls her out for her ruthless pursuit of sensational stories. The trio storms out before Skeeter can get another headline. Determined to bring Hagrid back, Hermione leads them to his cabin once more. This time the door eventually opens, revealing not Hagrid, but Dumbledore. The headmaster welcomes them in. Inside, they find a scruffy-looking, heartbroken Hagrid in tears. Not only Harry, Ron, and Hermione, but also Dumbledore reassure Hagrid that he is valued and respected, pointing out the many letters of support from parents. He urges Hagrid to return to work and dismisses the idea of hiding away because of some public criticism. Hagrid finally breaks down, moved by Dumbledore's words and the loyalty of his friends. After Dumbledore has left the cabin, Hagrid shares a photo of his father with the kids and tells them how much he admired him. He confesses to Harry that he saw a bit of himself in Harry when he first met him as an 11-year-old, an orphan with low confidence in his own abilities. Now he really hopes that Harry will win the Triwizard Tournament. It would prove to the wizarding world that blood status and where you come from does not matter and doesn't determine what someone's worth. Later that night, Harry lies awake, Hagrid's words echoing in his mind. He just cannot let him down, and Harry knows it's time to swallow his pride and give Cedric's cryptic advice about taking a bath with the golden egg a try.
Give it a try. Let's go. Harry, you got to figure this out, man.
Get over your issues with this boy.
Come on. Just because he's dating your girl and he's a pretty good Quidditch player from a house that you all kind of look down on, if I'm being honest. I don't know. He was chosen.
Yeah.
He was chosen by, I know, I just thought of chosen as well from Cobra Kai. Chosen. Yes, he's so good. But I'm telling you, he is chosen from the Goblet of Fire. Yeah. Goblet of Fire chooses him. And it's great. It's great. So he's got to step up and he's got to do what he's got to do. Now, let's get back into the beef of this. All right. So essentially for me, this, those chapters that you just think are snoozers.
Yeah.
This for me is kind of a snoozer.
What is it?
Because I don't really care that much about Rita Skeeter.
Oh, I know. She's awesome.
It's just like blah, 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 blah.
Yeah.
And I'm sort of like, okay, we get it. You're a beetle spying on people, making their lives miserable, and it just sucks.
However, we got to talk about this.
Yep.
We got to talk about, again, people probably think we defend the bad guys all the time. But all we're trying to see is some reasoning behind. Not actually reasoning why. I mean, obviously she's doing it to earn a living. She's probably not doing it the best way, but she learns that's the industry, right? That's how, if you want the headlines, you got to be sensational.
Yep.
And the thing is, she puts some information in there that is not wrong.
True.
And that should be considered. When, let's see. They're back at school. It's still cold. And they have care of magical creatures together with the Slytherins like normal. But Hagrid isn't there. Professor Grubbly Plank. I have to say that name.
Grubbly Plank. What a great name. Grubbly.
Yeah, she takes over this lesson. And as we know, the next couple of lessons. And Harry's like, why? Where's Hagrid? And she can't give any information, which is also okay. From Harry's perspective, it seems mean. From a teacher's perspective, no, you can't just tell your students, that's classified information.
It's classified. Yep.
Oh, you're not supposed to tell. But she shows them a unicorn. The girls love it. The girls are the only ones that are allowed to approach it. And from a teacher's perspective, you're kind of like, can you just leave the boys there without, an extra sort of task to do? I know she's probably like, okay, you got to listen, right? And sure enough, they're not going to listen.
Yeah,
from
for
far
sure.
away.
Well,
but
can I just say, because who's not going to listen the most? Harry.
Oh yeah, no.
I'm sorry. Let's actually get on this guy a little bit because she is the adult in charge, dude. All right. So honestly, you're right. Like, this way, please, Professor Grubbly Plank said. She strode off around the paddock. She's hauling him back to the lesson. He's like, "What's wrong with Hagrid?" And then she's like, "Never you mind."
But rude, right?
Right. She's like, "Never you mind. Don't worry about it." And he's like, "I do mind though." I like to make him sound like he's kind of a whatever. He said hotly. Harry hotly, she said, "What's up with him?" And then she acted as though she couldn't hear him. Good on her. Good on her. She led them past. This is where she takes them back
Yeah.
to kind of meet the unicorn. Because yeah, we're not going to entertain all of that. Literally had situations like this at school where kids are just like, yeah, but like, what's going on?
Oh, every day I'm in the classroom as a substitute teacher. They're like, "Where's so and so? What's wrong with him or her?"
Yeah,
I'm
what
like,
happened? What do you mean? What happened? They took a day off.
yeah,
It's personal day.
every single time. I'm
They're
like,
sick.
they're either sick or they're taking their personal
And they're
day.
offended, by
They're
the way.
going
The
to a
kids, I gotta say
wedding. I
this,
don't
the
know.
kids, they're offended.
Oh, I
They're always
know.
just like, I know too. Like I've come back a few times, and the kids, like other teachers, just like, your kids just like freaked out because you were gone. I'm like, guys, they freaked out because you were gone too. Like
Yeah.
anytime anybody's gone and they
Right.
anything that changes in their day, some structure,
Uh-huh. Yeah.
what? As if like
They're entitled to know.
it's
but-
almost like teachers are the furniture in the room.
yeah.
And so like you walk in, we're just furniture, and it's sort of like, who took the desk, man? Who took the like it's like we're gone.
Yeah.
They can clearly just So
yeah. I mean, in
Harry's-
this case, it's different because Harry actually is Hagrid's friend, but she doesn't know that.
yeah, and Harry heard information last night or whatever it was previously, week or so ago. That all the stuff that was going down with him and Madame Maxine. So
Right.
he does have that kind of context
Plus,
playing in the back of his head.
now that the boys are left there without an actual task to do, but besides just follow the lesson, gives Malfoy time to show Harry the article that Rita Skeeter just published about Dumbledore's giant mistake. And let's talk about this line. Okay, where it says last year. I mean, again, we're going back full circle to Rita Skeeter giving some information that is not wrong. So last year, Hagrid used his mysterious influence over the headmaster to secure the additional post of Care of Magical Creatures teacher over the heads of many better qualified candidates.
Wow.
And you got to admit that Rita's got a point there.
Wow.
Why did Dumbledore hire Hagrid?
Oh, I'll tell you why. I will tell you why he hired Hagrid.
Just when Harry starts the subject, by the way.
Exactly. Because he wants to be very in control of what Harry is experiencing, and he also trusts Hagrid, so he doesn't I don't think he really likes this whole idea of having a new Defense Against the Dark Arts teacher every year.
Oh no, yeah.
It's what he's been cursed with because of Tom Riddle.
Yeah.
And so he constantly has to be on the lookout as he's hiring people for that post to make sure he's not inviting some Death Eater or some secret spy or someone back into his ranks.
About that.
Right. So having Hagrid is like, okay, boom, I know this guy. Like he would, what's he say at some point? He's like, I would trust Hagrid with my life.
Wow.
And I go back. Why does he say that? Why is he so intent on, he trusts him even though he knows that he may spill information. He knows his intentions. He knows his heart. And he knows that he is loyal through and through. One insult in front of him by a muggle, Vernon Dursley, and he is almost ready to throttle him. Right? He is done. So I would want that type of person in your corner. This guy's got your back. You guys have a history together. And that's, I think, the big secret with all this is we do not know in 1943 what happened to Hagrid after he was expelled.
Right.
We know that Dumbledore later on, he's not even graduated. He's not even of the years of third year, fourth year, something like that.
Yeah.
He's not
He's
old
a boy,
enough.
actually. Yeah.
Yep. And so he, I believe, fosters him for a little bit because he eventually gives him that post and keeps him on as as gamekeeper or whatever.
Right.
And I think it was almost immediately, actually. He knew that he had
I'm sure he
talent
had
in that.
phase where he had to learn all that stuff.
He's not necessarily the keeper of the keys, but he's the groundskeeper. Like
Yeah.
he seems to acquire titles as he goes along here at Hogwarts.
Yeah.
But I think he legitimately did something to help Dumbledore in his fight versus Gellert Grindelwald.
Must have. And people who don't know about that relationship they have, they should wonder, like, why does he just give this guy the post as magical creatures teacher?
Oh, you mean outsiders?
And all he does is have dangerous creatures in there, Scroots all year long, same creature. You're not teaching us anything about any other creatures. That's an argument that, and also these are illegally bred creatures.
Right.
So when you hear the facts, you as a parent who doesn't know anything
Doesn't know any
about
of that. Yep.
Harry and Hagrid's relationship or Hagrid and Dumbledore's relationship, you're like, why?
I know.
That
And
seems kind of bad.
that's where, though, it's sort of like the wizarding community trusts Dumbledore. And this is where he does use, I think Dumbledore is guilty of saying he knows that the wizarding community leans on him for his expertise and he is a leader, all those different things. And so he leans on that to sort of say, you're going to look past this decision.
Yeah.
You're not going to look at this decision super closely.
Yeah.
Hagrid's my guy. No questions asked. That's it. And Rita Skeeter goes, I don't think so. Even though you have a great record and you're awesome and you've done wonderful things for the Wizarding World community, we need to triple check on why you're favoring Hagrid so much. Yeah. And you're right. If you don't know any of that stuff and you're brand new, you're a newcomer, you're sort of like, okay, cool. Appreciate all, know, all the good things that you've done. But now are you abusing your power? Are you taking advantage of your position? I don't know. Dumbledore, are you? Maybe now, he is.
Just to be clear, and also see the other side, obviously, the part she writes about his giant heritage being a bad influence on Harry and the students, obviously, it's absolute balderdash.
Yeah.
Humbug. They try to talk. That's it. It just is. We know that Hagrid has nothing. Except for some physical traits, he's nothing like the giants we learn later on, and that is the sad part, that she has to throw that in there, right? And that's the sensational part, basically. Right. But the trio tries to talk to Hagrid after school. No one answers the door. And so they have no choice but accept Hagrid's absence for a little while. And it's actually a couple days or weeks that go by when they go to Hogsmeade in mid-January.
Right.
And Harry kind of lies to Hermione a little bit and says that he's got the golden egg riddle pretty much figured out. So
Herms, I got it. Is good.
Because she's worried, like, you should not go to Hogsmeade. You should actually stay here and enjoy the quiet. You said earlier during Christmas, oh, it's so loud in here, I can't even focus. That use that Hogsmeade weekend to figure it out, but Harry just doesn't want to. And he genuinely hopes to see Hagrid in the village.
Right.
So on the way to the village, though, they watch Crumb. They see Crumb.
Oh, yeah, this is great.
Take a swim in the freezing cold lake, right? And I was wondering, what do you think? Is that just part of his exercise routine? Like, you'd love thinking about, cold plunges and going into the cold lake, cold temperature, challenging your body. That would be the type of thing. He's an elite athlete. Don't forget that.
For sure.
Or is this part of him figuring out the egg right now?
100%. He's already figured out the egg.
Okay.
And so what he's trying to do is practice his transformations. He's trying to practice swimming. He's actually training for the second task.
Yeah. Okay.
Which I think is pretty cool. And Ron mentioning, I am a little concerned about the giant squid.
I know.
Like, I'm super concerned about that. Like, that is one thing. And actually when I'm playing Hogwarts Legacy, I'm always just sort of like, where is it at? It's in there, It's like, it reminds me of,
can you actually interact with it in the game?
No, I don't think you ever do, but I just know that it's out there, right?
Yeah.
We've heard about it. How long has it been there? We don't know.
There's been rumors about the giant squid
for years. This is like Nessie, though. This is like Loch Ness, makes you think of that, and you're like, well, it's not too far from Loch Ness, because we've been there, by the way. I kind of know where Hogwarts is in real life. Don't know if you guys know about this, but it's in Scotland.
We've been there.
We've been there. So anyway, I'm a little concerned for Victor, because he's jumping in there with the giant squid, but he is training for the second task big time, which good for him. He's on it. So he's working on that, and I'm sure Cedric is working on his charm.
Because we know that he's figured it out. Yep. Right.
And I think Fleur and Cedric use the same bubble charm, I think.
Do they?
I think that's what in the movie that's what they both sort of use that. But I don't know if it's
Could be. Why not? Maybe there's only a limited amount of charms. It's not part of the rules that you have to find something different than
it's just your execution of that. Yeah. So anyway,
so that's on the way to Hogsmeade. They go there. They go to the Three Broomsticks, look around. Hagrid's nowhere to be seen. But they do see Ludo Bagman with not three, that's in the Three Broomsticks, but some goblins. We don't know how many. And again, this is supposed to make him look suspicious by trying to help. He's trying to help Harry too much. When he comes over, he spots Harry, comes over, and he tries to help him. It has two purposes. So he's trying to get away from the goblins who are pestering him, not because he's a bad guy, but he's got some major debt.
Well, the odds are against Harry Potter, and so if he can help Harry, and he can also bet on those odds, then he can make triple, double the money, right?
Exactly. He's trying to bet on Harry, and it's trying to help him, and Harry doesn't get it. He's really taken aback, and it's like, nah, thanks, man. I haven't figured out. Right. He just felt like it wouldn't have been right, even if his own friends sometimes hesitate to help him. Then someone he doesn't even know that well, like Ludo, and he's one of the judges too, should not help him with that. So that's some pride Harry has there, that he, even though he's kind of desperate to figure it out, he has some pride in not taking Cedric's advice because of Cho. He has pride in not taking Ludo's advice and help because that just doesn't feel right.
Right.
So he does have multiple chances, but has,
he's got integrity.
Yeah.
He's sort of like, I got it.
Yeah.
And he will figure it out. And like you said, by the end of this chapter, he finally gets to that point, like, okay, I actually need to go. Cedric gave me the tip. So I need to just go.
Yeah, because he also knows he has a responsibility for his friends to, Hagrid is the one thing that sets him off, that his lying to Hagrid, it even says it, is unlike lying to anybody else. I wonder why that is, because do you think that's because Hagrid is such an honest, blunt, friendly dude, or?
Yeah, I think Harry is a good judge of character most of the time.
Yeah.
So that's crazy. It's hard to kind of tell because he totally does not. I think he misses so many things from Draco and from, and this is young. He's meant to. He's not meant to pick up that Draco's projecting, or that, like what Snape's going through in his history and all that kind of stuff. So he totally mischaracterizes them. Not all the time. Most of the time he's right, but a lot of times he's wrong. He makes big mistakes, and so he has to learn from those things. But a lot of times he's a pretty good judge of character. And it is just Hagrid. Hagrid says here at the end too, I think you mentioned it in the summary, that he and Harry are kind of the same. Like they both were orphaned, and they both, are coming here trying to prove themselves at Hogwarts. And so he kind of connected.
Outsiders.
He connected with Harry a little bit, and he could feel that. I think you can feel intentionality too, because Hagrid had that intentionality towards him. And also there's this crazy bond between them, because Hagrid literally from his earliest moments was there, rescued him.
He did.
During a tragic time in his life, right? Where he's literally struck with magic that he can't even understand. And Scarcruxes formed.
It's probably the first face he sees after his parents passed away. And again, if you think about a 1-year-old, they're not going to actively remember, but he has distant memories of that.
Oh yeah, for sure.
It's not like he was a baby, like just born.
No,
he was there, and I mean, thinking about our niece that is 1 year old now.
Yeah,
that'd be so awful crazy.
Right.
Yeah, and Hagrid was there, and they have a special bond, like you said. That's why that gets so angry. Rita Skeeter when she walks into the pub.
Right, and he jumps at her.
Right. First Harry and then Hermione. And then Hermione and Rita's beef with each other really starts off when she calls her a silly little girl and that she doesn't know anything about that. Blah, 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 blah. So this causes Hermione, she's very, very much for doing the right thing too. And this is, in her anger, she just grabs the boys and says, "We're out of here. Let's go. We're going to see Hagrid. No matter what, he has to open the door for us. It's ridiculous that he stays hidden or away from everyone just because of that woman." So they storm over into Hagrid's cabin and find Dumbledore there.
Yeah.
And I love how Dumbledore handles things here. And I have one little quote. Okay, it's not many, but one little quote that Dumbledore says when he's trying to calm Hagrid down and sees the kids in there. When Harry says, "Of course we still want to know you," staring at Hagrid, "you don't think anything that Skeeter Cow..." "Sorry, Professor," he added quickly, looking at Dumbledore, and Dumbledore just says, "I have gone temporarily deaf and haven't any idea what you said, Harry," said Dumbledore, twiddling his thumbs and staring at the ceiling.
That's awesome.
And he's the headmaster. He's awesome. I just love this. And then later, this is also interesting. Dumbledore says to Hagrid, "I have shown you the letters from the countless parents who remember you from their own days here, telling me in no uncertain terms that if I sacked you, they would have something to say about it."
That is something I was thinking about, and I'm doing this timeline. I'm working on a big Voldemort timeline, and Hagrid in 1943 is there. He is the he is the groundskeeper. He's given that role. He is there for all of the Marauders.
Yeah.
They would know Hagrid. Like
Yeah.
they would really know
they
him
do.
intimately and well.
Yeah.
As would like Lucius and all those. I mean, going back through the time, I'm like, wow, there's a lot of Hagrid's much older than you think.
He's 50.
He's
I mean, he's Tom Riddle's age.
Tom Riddle's age. He's 2 years younger. And so you're like, okay, he was around for all those different generations. So that little bit kind of stood out to me too, where it's like the letters from previous parents or people who attended Hogwarts who are like, Hagrid's great.
And you can totally see that where you have, if you have a local school here and you have, let's say the
gym coach.
Yeah, for example, coach or and people know like he's an older
custodian.
Coach.
I will tell you right now.
Custodians, yes.
I can tell you right now at the high school that I work at, our head custodian, both of them, he has the head custodian and his right hand man are the funniest guys in the school.
Yeah.
And it's awesome. They're the groundskeepers, if you will, right? And I walk in and if it's raining outside, first person I go find, is Marty. And I'm like, Marty, come on, man. He's like, all right, man. He's like, what? He's like, what's going on? And I was just like, can you do something about the rain outside? Come on, man. It's leaking outside. He's like, we'll get right on it. Let me get Kurt. Let's go, man. And they just roll outside, like pretend like they're going to go do something about whatever.
They
but
just go with it.
Yeah. And I always walk back there too. And I'm always like, hey, what's going on here, fellas? And they're like, well, as little as possible.
Right.
As little as possible.
You kind of wish that Filch had that relationship with staff and students, right? It does.
Instead, he's the grumpy custodian who's like, oh my God, so mad about the messes and stuff. They're just, to them, it's just like the job. Every day there's a mess or something they got to work on, something breaks, something they got to fix. But yeah, I think it would be people who know those custodians or know those people, those coaches, those pillars in those buildings and organizations that could just write you a letter and say, no, I've known this guy for years, I don't care what you found out about his heritage and everything. It's, it's all hogwash.
Yeah.
So
yeah, true.
Anyway.
And Hagrid. So where were those parents in Chamber of Secrets when they sent Hagrid to Azkaban?
Well, I mean, that's a little too close right there. It's sort of like your first violation or the first thing that you're like kind of in trouble for. And then years later, people are like, oh, it's all good. It's all good. It's all good. But then something that's very similar to what you were originally accused of happens in near proximity to you. And people are like, well, maybe they were right about that.
Yeah. Until they proved it was actually
the like, oh, thank God. He's actually good. Yeah. That kind of sucks because especially when you're falsely accused like that, I hate that.
Yeah.
Because Hagrid had nothing to do with originally, but because there was an accusation and that exists in his life, he then, anytime that Chamber of Secrets comes up, who's the first person?
Right.
Yeah, you go to.
Maybe that edged the parents on or motivated them even more to say, last time you already accused him of something false or wrong. Leave him alone. He's a good guy, and no matter what. And it's hard sometimes to see that when you feel like everything. We tend to remember the negative comments more than the positive. Unfortunately, that's how our brains work.
Right.
And we have to literally force ourselves to focus on the people who reach out that have positive things to say.
Yeah.
Or your own positive thoughts. It's a choice you make.
It is crazy because Rita Skeeter has the she can skew things right? She controls the agenda. She controls what the public is going to focus on. There's many things you could focus
Right.
on during this tournament, and she chooses to have the public focus on Hagrid, who's
Yeah.
been there. It's kind of a lazy. It's almost like she didn't have
Yeah.
much to write about,
Yeah.
and
Right.
she had to come up with something because, like, well, this is kind of dry. I
Yeah.
need something. Where's the juice? And so then she goes and picks on him because he's been around for so long. Everyone's like,
Mhm.
we're good. We all kind of know he's a half giant. We just no one needed
Right.
that
I mean, come
confirmed. It's
on.
obvious.
Yeah.
But anyway, there's that. So Harry, when he's approaching her, he says, what does she say? She says, Harry, how lovely. Why don't you come join? And he goes, I wouldn't come near you with a 10-foot broomstick. And
What?
Harry said furiously,
Mm.
what did you do that to Hagrid for? What did you do
Oh.
that to Hagrid for? And she's just like put her pencil down, trying to check. Well, our readers have a right to know the truth. I'm merely doing my. And then he like, who cares if he's a half giant? Like that's true.
Mhm.
Who cares? She had to make that an issue.
Right.
There's nothing wrong with him, etc. Then she tries to get him. Well, Harry, how about you give me an interview about
Mhm.
Hagrid, the Hagrid that you know,
Right.
the man behind the muscles, your unlikely friendship, and the reason behind it. Would you call him a father substitute? I mean, she's just ridiculous.
She just puts words in his mouth already.
And then Hermione
Right.
goes nuts. You horrible woman.
Yeah.
So it is crazy. Yeah, she's just everything. It doesn't matter what she doesn't really care about. Like if an article were to get a lot of we would call it now clicks and views, right?
Mhm.
And it was pro Hagrid. It was very for Hagrid. If she thought there was an angle there to get good clicks and views, she would be like pro Hagrid.
Right. That's what you do with Harry.
It doesn't matter.
Yeah.
It doesn't matter. It's not really personal to Hagrid
No.
or anyone else, or even Dumbledore later, The Secrets of Dumbledore. He's just the biggest name.
Right.
Hey,
Right.
we can capitalize on that and make some.
And since everybody's been, talking good things about Dumbledore most of the time, unless you count the years when he was accused by Fudge to be a liar. But she thought, okay, this angle would get the most. Obviously, unfortunately, often it is the negative news and negative headlines that get more attention. That's just, again, I feel like we do have to combat that sometimes, and
yeah,
it's not always good to listen to that and read it all day long.
No, yeah, and you need to be
news.
aware of agendas and purpose, and
Yeah.
you need to have multiple viewpoints on the same topic.
Right.
That's why we teach kids all day long to figure out their sources, to choose opposing viewpoints, to make us aware. If you're only sharing one side of the story, you haven't done your research. You haven't really looked into it well enough, and you need to hear everyone out, even if their points are ridiculous. Seemingly, it's good to hear them because maybe there is a sliver of truth there that we should investigate further.
Exactly.
But all we have is this data point.
Yeah.
So yeah, Hermione jumps all over her though, which is great. And she is definitely ticked, which this now sends her on this sort of vendetta to figure out how Rita knows these things. And she even alludes to it, like, she's like, how did he even know? How does Rita even know this? And she was like, well, there's something to the effect of like, well, weren't you guys listening? Or I think they're getting on her for like listening when she shouldn't have been listening. And she's like, well, like you guys were. And then you're like, oh wait, they're in the same spot. There's these little clues.
Yeah.
Rita and Harry and Ron were all in the same spot.
It must have been.
And listening in a way I think that her own words kind of cues her into like, well, wait a second. This was probably one conversation. Harry and Ron heard it exactly. It's where was she in proximity to them? And then she starts to kind of figure it out.
Yeah.
So anyway, it's great. But I'm glad they go visit Hagrid and they do get in there with Dumbledore, and to see Dumbledore supporting him is huge and is great.
And eventually he just says, no, I expect you to be back on Monday. This is ridiculous.
Yep.
Yeah.
Yeah. So really cool. And I think just overall it does make me wonder. It does make me wonder more and more about the Dumbledore Hagrid relationship, because remember, and people don't like to hear this. I did a short on this and they don't like to hear it, but I believe Hagrid saved Dumbledore.
Yeah.
He has like because he's half giant, he can repel spells. Like his own body, his own skin, his own hide can repel, though they bounce off of him because he's got giant's blood.
Yeah.
So like you can't
it's actually a positive thing.
It's a great, so he has the ability to take a couple hits on behalf of Dumbledore, have his back, come from the shadows, jump in front of a curse or a hex, maybe not Avada Kedavra, but something, and maybe just, you know, I mean,
gives Dumbledore that split second that he needs.
He split second to come back. Maybe Grindelwald had him. You know what I'm saying?
Yeah.
Maybe he's got him pinned down in a duel, and it looks like there's nothing he can do, and he needs a breather, a quick second.
That'd be so sick if Hagrid really was involved in that.
I'm telling you, it would from the shadows, and he probably comes flying down in a dragon too. Like,
I mean, again, we have Newt and Hagrid have that relationship over.
I know, and you know how I legitimately think like Newt goes to investigate the American horned serpent or whatever, and it has the jewel of invisibility on its noggin. I literally think all that comes back into play, and Newt and Hagrid start to kind of work together. They're introduced, and
that'd be so cool.
He gets a jewel of invisibility, and he's literally Hagrid's invisible as a giant, and unexpectedly like steps in the middle of that duel. Like, come on! and for some reason he's somewhere where he can't be, and it never makes the papers, and he's I don't know. There's maybe a reason why it never gets known at large. We don't know why.
Right.
I'm just sorry. I'm spitballing, speculating. But anyway, I love it. And it is a bit of for me, like, as I said, I just don't like Rita Skeeter stuff. I'm just not at this point in time, I'm not a huge fan. Later on, once she starts digging into Dumbledore's life, I'm interested.
Yeah.
I want to know what she has to say. And once Hermione gets after her, okay, good. Get rid of old Rita Skeeter. And then she pops up from time to time, you know, when they start smearing Harry and she and Fudge are going crazy. But it's
also, like, that's interesting. You mentioned that she's later writing for the Ministry, but now she's also trying to dig stuff up for, like, that the Ministry is trying to cover up, right? The whole Bertha Jorkins affair.
Yeah, Harry.
She's trying to dig into it, and that would be a positive thing if somebody went in there and actually did some digging and actually figured out what happened here.
Exactly.
So it's not. That's why we're trying to see it as not one-sided, but that's just her job. Unfortunately, often it turns out it's really, really, you know, bad for those people who.
Yeah. You know, one thing that J.K. Rowling does really well in her writing, if you look at modern day times and you watch the news, be it Fox, CNN, whatever it is that you watch, BBC News, you know, all that kind of stuff, you figure out that the public is, even though we know that they're outmatched and we know that Voldemort's at play here and it's all magical and fantastical, she does have this angle where people are like focused on, well, Cornelius Fudge is not responding well, or like Ludo Bagman. You know, it's not that we know he would have never been. We, as the reader, know that Jorkins would never have been found or rescued or whatever. It's the fact that we can criticize you because you didn't send out people earlier.
Yeah,
we can criticize your decisions in terms of like you should have done this quicker. Your response should have been better, even though it might not have changed the outcome. And we, as the reader, know that. We kind of miss that. Like, that's some of what J.K. Rowling is writing in there, is how the media tries to hold them accountable, and the public is trying to say, you know, you didn't do everything you could do, and so we don't know. What would have happened, but Anyway.
So this chapter ends with Harry really feeling bad about lying to Hagrid, because Hagrid is all excited now. It's like, you guys are right. I shouldn't be concerned with that too much, and it's ridiculous. And Harry, you go show them that, you know, what you're made of, that heritage doesn't matter. You know, Harry brings the example with the Dursleys. That those are my relatives. Look at them, but I'm nothing like them. So, it just fires Hagrid up and really makes him say, "Harry, I'm rooting for you. I truly want you to win this now." And that Harry really feels bad, because he can't look him in the face and say, "Yeah, I have no clue what that egg is trying to tell me." He lies to him just like to Hermione. Yeah, I almost got it. I'm pretty sure I'm almost there. And then he lies awake and he's like, "I gotta get on this. This is getting worse and worse with every day passes that I haven't figured it out." And, you know, it's one thing to have the egg, the riddle, the mystery figured out, but then you have to have a strategy for once you know what the task is, how to go about it.
Right.
Yeah. So he decides, I'm going to take Cedric's advice, and it's better than taking help from Ludo. So I'll do the baths thing.
Cedric owed him, or Cedric owed Harry one. Yeah. So there you go. That's kind of the thing that I almost wonder, if you are fake Moody, right? If, what were we calling him? Grudy? What were we calling him? Smoothie?
I was thinking the same thing. What did we
call him? We had a nickname for him.
It's been a while.
Yeah. Can't remember. I haven't mentioned him in a bit. Anyways, fake Moody, you can think about it for a second.
Yeah.
But fake Moody probably wondered, like, he didn't expect, he couldn't have known or guaranteed that Harry was going to go tell Cedric.
Right.
And that would come back later. He had to have an alternative plan as to, like, how do I get this information to him?
Yeah.
You know, I mean, the first task he just sort of takes over, and like it's like he's got, you know, Hagrid and Ron and those guys spilling the beans and everything around him or whatever, and then so still he gets the information, he knows what the task is, but how do you deal with it?
Yeah.
And that's where he stepped in just himself.
Right.
He can't do that each and every time,
No.
Otherwise it gets super suspicious.
Crudy. Sorry.
Huh?
Crudy.
Crudy.
Yeah. Crouch.
Crudy.
Crudy.
Crudy. Yeah.
Yeah.
Okay.
Yeah. No, he
Anyway.
can't. Yeah.
Crudy.
He has to be very subtle about it
I get it. It's Moody and
because
Crudy.
he's a double agent.
Yeah. Anyway, but yeah, so this time I think it's just interesting that it's because I think even if Crudy wasn't there, more of this stuff would have happened between Harry and Cedric and other people just
Maybe,
doing the
yeah.
right thing, you know,
Yeah.
like because there's a history of cheating.
Yeah,
and
they said it's part of the tournament.
part of the
Everyone knows it.
tournament. Yeah. Need to be prepped for it.
Yeah.
What are they gonna do? You just throw you in there and you just drown? I mean,
Right.
Harry would have been lost.
Yeah.
So okay.
All right.
Yep, that is all we have today, friends. Good little chapter discussion. Be sure to stick around and go check this out. I'm gonna have a little conversation with the missus over here about something very intriguing. She has no idea what I'm gonna say. So that's always fun when we do those. So be sure to check out the Patreon episode. We'll get that rolling your way. But hey, that's all for this episode. Thanks for tuning in to Show Cottage Radio 94.7 COZY. We hope you're going to join us in the future. And we thoroughly do meeting new positive Potter people that'll behave like bubbling bands of baboons.
Baboons.
I wonder if anybody else, as they're listening, does that with us
Baboons.
while they're in the car and they're like, and they hear us say the baboons and they all chime in and go, baboons. That'd be kind of cool. Man, okay. If you don't want to miss out on the next episode, then be sure to subscribe to our podcast, leave us that review, and follow on social media at fleurandbill.
If you truly enjoy our content, consider supporting our growing wizarding family on Patreon or Apple Premium. You will find all the links down below. And thank you so much to all our current patrons. We appreciate you, to Luna and back. On our next reread episode, we will discuss Harry Potter and the Goblet of Fire, Chapter 25, The Egg and the Eye. So make sure you tune back in next time. And until then, have a great rest of your week. Thanks for joining us in our shell cottage today. We know it's not much, but it's home.